Welcome everyone, Shiv here. So today we're going to be taking a look at Emogirly's Beatings Available Priest deck. I actually know Emogirly is by a different name via Twitter, mostly because we troll the same person repeatedly and try to make their Croatian life a living hell. Anywho, so recently I was asked, hey, how come I haven't been reviewing this person's decks? Why aren't I taking a look at this? And, you know, I saw a couple things and whatnot, but I was like super busy. I had a little bit of free time after my girlfriend left today, so I just decided, you know, all right, let's sit down, let's get to work. So I took a look at this deck and I was like, oh, there are some very interesting mechanics here, and this is really outside the meta thinking that we don't generally see. And I liked it. I can't tell you how much I like this. It was doing really good for me. I was like, oh, I mean, we're priests. Nobody ever counts priest to be anything, right? Right? Priest who? Well, Emogirly has taken the step here to kind of rectify that situation in a rather nasty way. Many of matches that I was playing with this deck, my opponents just conceded, because the board state was getting to a point where they had no option to deal with it. And if that didn't happen, I was taking their own tools and using it against them. It was rather disgusting. Alright, so let's get into what this deck is. We're going to do a card-by-card breakdown. We're going to play a match. Alright? So we got Power Word Shield because we're priest and, you know, hey, buffing health is cool and it's a card draw. Cogmaster. Obviously, we're running mechs. Northshire Cleric, because draw engine, and you know we're going to be healing some of these big tough minions, right? That's kind of the core concept of the deck. We're gonna have these big baller ass minions that most classes are not going to be able to deal with very easily. Mind Blast. This is what actually caught me off guard, okay? And here is why. Mind Blast is in this deck for the same reason that Kill Command is in Hunter. The same reason why Fireballs are in mages or whatever. You know, it's literally, it's not as versatile as a fireball, thus why it's 2 mana. But that extra little bit of damage you're going to get because of it is immensely important. I can't even tell you how immensely important that is going to be for you guys, all right? So, moving on past that, we've got a Noyotron because, you know, Mech, it's 2 mana, and it's a little bit difficult to kind of get around. And if you can get some, you know, really nice buffs on that, that's cool. You know, get a taunt wall that you can just kind of keep up. Great. Downside here is Grim Patron. Sorry. All right, Mech Warpers, because any kind of reduction you can get to your deck is an important thing. You know, look at Druids. So yeah, those are in here, and it works well with the deck. Shadow Boxers, another 2-drop. This deck has a lot of 2-drops. You look at this curve, it's like 7 2-drops. This is actually a pretty decent curve here. All right. Shadow Word Death, because, you know, sometimes there's going to be that big-ass minion you just have to kill. And not all of them are 7 or higher, guys, okay? Let's be realistic on that. Dark Cultist. Only one of in this deck. It's a little strange, but again, as you'll notice, there's a little theme here of giving health to minions, and this fits in very, very nicely. Spider Tanks, pretty good staple 3-drop. Tinkertown Technicians, another great staple 3-drop, and it gives you spare parts, so why not? Shadow Madness, because their low-drop stuff can actually become beneficial to you, i.e., oh, look, you play a mad scientist. Well, we don't get secrets, but we can take said mad scientist, run it into something else of theirs, and they don't get the value on it. Oh, you played an Acolyte of Pain. Well, here, let me just relieve you of that burden. You see what I'm saying? You can get value out of it a lot of times. Not to mention, it works on Sludge Belcher, so you can use this to run it into one of his big-ass minions and kill the Sludge Belcher and get the 1/2. There's lots of different play combinations you can use Shadow Madness with. Mechanical Yeti, it's a 4/5 body and gives you a spare part. This one I kind of feel was like in there just to fill out the deck, sort of, but it works. I mean, the only other option was throwing another 3-drop, and that would really kind of hurt the deck somewhat. And I like the curve it went for here. All right. Pilot Shredder, arguably one of the best 4-drops in the game. It's pure value all the time. Not to mention the fact that because of some other cards in this deck, you could get this guy to some insane health amounts and really piss off your opponent, which I've done repeatedly. All right, Holy Nova, because sometimes in AoE, considering we have Northshire Cleric, we're going to have a lot of minions with a lot of health. You could get some really good draw value out of this one card and a lot of other interesting scenarios here. This is also the one and only AoE in the deck, so when you use it, make sure you're using it for a damn good reason. Anti-Killbot, because hunters exist. I know that's such a shit cop-out answer, but it's God's honest truth. There are going to be times when you're going to get Wookiee stomped. They're just going to ignore your board and just keep pounding you face, pounding you face. And you need to buy yourself a little bit of time. Well, Anti-Killbot's going to provide that for you. Not to mention your own hero power will do the same. All right. Upgraded Repair Bot. Now, this guy got like virtually no attention when TVG came out. Like, everybody was like, it's a 5/5 for 5 that gives only a plus health to mechs. That means you got to run mechs as a priest. I mean, why would anybody ever want to run mechs as a priest? Seriously, I heard these arguments a lot. And I've actually seen some pretty decent mech decks out there, but they always lacked some consistency issues. So here, I actually found it quite nice. People didn't know what to do with the 5/5s. Like, wait, it's not Emperor Thurzan. It's not... Do I kill this? Do I ignore it? I mean... Their value tables for it, because they haven't experienced it so much, are pretty much shit. The answer is, yes, you kill it. Or else it's just going to walk right over Sludge Belcher, and, well, pretty much everything else on the board will be able to deal with what's left over. Alright, Cabal Shadow Priest, because Flamewaker exists. Because a lot of shit exists. Now, some of you might say, well, why isn't there a Shrinkmeister in this deck? Wouldn't Shrinkmeister in this work? Great. Yes, it would if you were going for that kind of synergy. But Shrinkmeister would throw off other synergies in the deck. Thus, it is not here. So, what are we looking to grab with Cabal Shadow Priest? Let's be very specific here, folks. All right? Let's be very specific. You want the Acolytes of Pain. You want the Flamewakers. You want whatever little tool that they got out there that you can use. You can even take a Keeper of the Grove. You can take anything you really want because it's going to add to your board state. And this deck is all about having an overwhelming board state and using it against your opponent. You're literally just building board, punching them in the face. All right? You're denying their board and punching them and punching them and punching them. Seriously, Randuin, I mean, oh God, yeah, thank you, Nox. Anduin Wynn has never been so baller, okay? He's not sitting down. He's not just going to sit back and be like, oh, I'll heal you, I'll heal you. No, man. He went, no, all right, let me take this big-ass hammer here, and I'm going to start smacking some ugly into you. All right. And finishing up the deck we have is Dr. Boom, because... Do I really have to explain this? It's 7 mana, and we're following the curve, and, well, it's Dr. fucking Boom. Why wouldn't you play Dr. Boom? All right. So, that is the deck. It's a really, really fun deck, guys. It really is. So, we're going to play some games, see how it goes. All right. I had a lot of fun with this deck. I really did. I'm definitely going to have to invite Emogirly on to Deck Talk, as that's coming back here very soon. Just because... this is a very worthy deck. I can't even begin to sing the praises of this. Okay, so we've got your typical hunter. Alright. This is actually not bad. This is not bad at all. Gonna throw back the Shadow Madness here. Some might say that's a mistake. Actually, no, we're gonna hold on to the Shadow Madness. I can see some viability in it. Very good. Very good. Alright, depending on if he has a turn 1 play, we'll determine what we do.
Get in there and fight, maggot!
Okay, good.
Is someone injured?
Job's done.
Now, the reason for that is I know for a fact he's probably going to go for the Glaive Zuka right now. No, wow, did not have the Glaive Zuka. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to build board and trade.
Right away.
Now this is the scenario you don't want. Damage and drawing.
To my side.
Alright. Well, I think we have to draw a card first.
I can fix anything.
And
Right away.
we're going to trade. Yes, pardon the train. For some odd reason on Sunday they run like 3 back-to-back. And it always varies at time. I've been trying to keep schedule, it just does not work. Okay, so he's going to lay out some minions here. Alright. So, here's where that Shadow Madness comes into play.
Right away.
I'll fix you.
Alright. And he just concedes. He's like, wait, no. Alright. Now that was really short. So we're going to give it another game. Just, you know. It has some really cool openings that you can do stuff like that and literally drive your opponents mad to where they just don't want to play no more. And I like that. Frustrating a hunter? 2 thumbs up in my book every single time. Alright. Alright. Mage. Good possibility tempo because that's like all the rage right now. Alright. Mind Blast and Shadow Madness less needed. I really want to get a Mech Warper. That way I can synergize my hand very, very nicely. But that'll work too. Shadow Boxer is another 2-drop. That is a Mech. It's also going to be the primary target for the Frostbolt. So hopefully we'll get something else to follow up behind it. Sadly, we've only got a couple 3-drops, one of which is really viable on curve. The other one is only viable on curve as long as you have a mech. So we actually have a really good opening here. The upgraded bot there, the 5 mana is not so much. Okay, this is cool. This is very cool for us. And we wait. That's the sad thing about some of these matches. You know, you can't really put a timer on it. All right.
I'll fix you.
And we wait. Yes, well, if I ever decided to do any quote-unquote editing, this is where I would be fast-forwarding a lot. But, you know, hey, this is what you get when you record live. Alright, so here comes the Frostbolt, as I predicted. Right? Okay, so we bring out the next one.
I'll fix you.
And we hit him for 3. So now he's got to use, like, a fireball to kill that. He could try to flame cannon it, but that really isn't going to do much for him right now. Okay. So we're going to play this.
Powering up. Portals online. Force fire. I'll fix you.
Problem is, if we play this next turn, he's going to get it. And that is a problem. So I need to...
I serve the fire.
That's a problem. Alright. Flame cannon. Okay. Well, what we do here...
I'll fix you. I'll fix you.
Just keep on pushing that damage. Alright. Oh, that's cute of him.
Is someone injured? Is someone injured?
Something needs tinkering? I'll fix you.
Alright. So, if I count correctly here, we have 7 available, plus 5 in hand. Fireball. Oh, flame cannon. Oh, okay, that's fine. That does suck, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So,
You win.
and they just concede. So, 2 matches back to back. And those were, like, not uncommon decks either. I mean, we saw Face Hunter. We saw Tempo Mage. And the deck was able to basically build board and deny them any real kind of advantage very nicely. This deck has a lot of tools you're going to really love using. I will say this right now. Grim Patron is a little bit of a problem. And the reason why it's a little bit of a problem is because a Noyotron, Northshire Cleric, Mech Warper, Cog Master without any other mech on the board. That's a lot of things that will empower another Grim Patron to come out. So you basically gotta burn through those guys in your early game and only have stuff out like Mechanical Yeti, Piloted Shredder, Anti-Killbot, the upgraded mini-bot, which, by the way, I just noticed that there is something slightly off about this here. So hold on, let me just fix this real quick. There you go. Dr. Boom wasn't showing. Neither was Cabal Shadow Priest. So you want those minions out there by the time they're pulling off that combo. If you have anything smaller, you're kind of hurting yourself in so many unique ways. So be careful of that. But you can beat it. I have beaten Grim Patron decks with this deck. It is very, very possible. The deck is outstanding. It's a lot of fun to play. Not much of any kind of real special teching or any understanding you really need to understand other than build your board, deny their board. That's the only concept you need. Alright? That is really the only concept. The deck damn near plays itself. It is simplistic, but yet so deadly, and it's so much fun. Don't try too hard to get super value out of things like, you know, Shadowboxer, like I did, because, well, I'm creative and I like to play around with stuff. But you know what? Don't be that guy. Go for the safe play every single time, and this deck will do you pretty damn good. As usual, you can find this deck in the description. There'll be a link to the guide, the deck on Hearthstone. Please check it out. Go and upvote this deck. Try it out. Play it. If you like it, let the guy know how much you appreciate the deck. Super fun. Till next time, this is a Shiv saying, good luck, have fun, and may RNGesus bless you. And if he doesn't, beat the living shit out of him. Peace.